Do you know what? Out of all the things that have happened in the last few months, reading the details of what happened to this 12-year-old girl is horrific. I can't let it go. I haven't since I heard about the conviction. I haven't managed to stop thinking about how bad things are starting to get. Can you imagine if this was 20 or 30, maybe 20 or 30 years ago? If 20 or 30 years ago it came on the news channel that two migrant men that had invaded our country on a dinghy had come into the United Kingdom, into England, kidnapped, abducted a 12-year-old girl, taken her, raped her, and then videoed themselves doing it. Can you imagine what would have happened 20 or 30 years ago if that was the case? And it's just like another report. Oh, another migrant crime, another child, another white English girl targeted. Have we not had enough of white English girls being targeted in this country? Have we not dealt for 40 years of Pakistani grooming gangs going after our daughters, going after the most vulnerable in society? And now we're letting another group of men come into the country when they shouldn't be here and do exactly the same thing. How fucking weak are we? How fucking weak? I can't get over it. I can't get over it. Everyone's not saying, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go out and do something. I'm ready to go and show my voice. I'm ready to make... This could literally... How many of you have got daughters that are watching this? How many of you have got daughters that are watching this? Like, think about what it would be like to know that your daughter was raped and kidnapped by a migrant that came off a boat. Just imagine for a second how that would feel. Because I've visioned that today. How I would feel. My daughter's 11 years old. So we've got the grooming gang. We've had for all the police covering it up. Everyone's covering it up. And now coming out. Rupert Lowe's the only one that's willing to put his head above the parapet to come out and say what needs to be said. Yeah? We've had all of that. Grooming gang this, grooming gang that. White girls being targeted. Derelict houses. Gang rape by men. And now we've got another group of men coming into the UK and doing exactly the same thing. And we're just going, yeah, another report. And I'm talking directly to those influencers. I'm seeing it today. All of them are like, oh, look, another migrant crime. They're like, yeah, I know, it's bad, isn't it? It's never going to get better. It's like, how weak of a nation. Can you imagine if that was a Muslim girl? Can you imagine what would happen if that girl was Muslim and it had been in Birmingham? What do you think would have happened? The whole of Birmingham Muslims would have stood up and it would have been chaos. Now imagine if that was a black girl. And that happened to a black girl. Imagine what the black community would be doing. Why the fuck is no one bothered about what... And I know everyone is. Let me rephrase that. I know everyone's bothered. But we cannot. We're letting another group of men think they can come into this country and literally rape our daughters, and we're not doing fuck all about it. May that make sense? Everyone's too bothered about football, about this, about that. Are you fucking for real? Like, we've had such a long time of dealing with these grooming gangs, these Muslims coming into this country, be it their parents were brought in, be it their granddads were brought in, they're guests in this country, we've allowed them to come in. We've now found out that for years upon years, it's been hidden. The police hid it all. All the Labour councillors, the Labour government, everyone was hiding it because it would mess up their votes with the block votes of Muslim votes. And now we've got another group of men coming into the UK on a small boat, raping our kids. Imagine, you have to really imagine. Do you know what it means for a 12-year-old girl to be taken off the street, kidnapped, plucked off the street, taken somewhere, and raped. And then they videoed themselves doing it. They videoed themselves doing it. A 12-year-old girl. And everyone's just going, yeah, it's bad, isn't it? Bad. It's getting bad, isn't it? It's getting bad. Civil war must be coming. What the fuck? Like I said to you, if this was a Muslim girl, or this was a black girl, or this was a Sikh girl, what do you think would be happening? Why are we not responding like they would? It's a joke. It's a joke. There are thousands. Listen, my source, and I'm not bullshitting when I tell you, she knows everything. This person knows everything about what's going on in France. She's researched it for nearly 10 years. She knows so much. She's saying, Danny, there are thousands on their way to France. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of migrant men are on their way to France to push themselves into Calais, and then they're going to be on small boats by the summer. Because the conversations are going through the grapevine. Well, some lads try to go over and try to stop it from happening, but guess what? Not enough of them turned up. So now we've put some things in place. We've banned them. They're still trying to find me now. They can't find me. I've had calls. They're trying to find me. I don't know why. The police are trying to find me for this, that, and the other. I don't know what they're trying to find me for. But you ain't going to find me. Because I know what needs to be done. And this is more the reason why people need to get off the fucking internet. They need to stop thinking that they can walk down a road with a flag in their hand and it's somehow going to change the future. I'm talking to the men. Yeah? You seriously have to stop and understand we are in a different day and age now. We're not protesting about simple things like back in the day. You'd be protesting about simple shit. This is about an invasion of men coming into our country and raping young white English girls and women and murder and this, and they're being put in every single hotel, in every single HMO that's available, and you don't even know the half of it because they're covering all of it up. And now this young girl has to live with the fact that she's been raped by migrant men who never should have been in the country, should never be allowed to walk the streets. And how long is it going to be until the next one? And then what's going to happen? Let me guess. Everyone's just going to update their Facebook status and go, yeah, look, it's happened again. Migrant crime, migrant. I'm so fed up of looking at weakness. This would have not gone down this way 30 years ago. 30 or 40 years ago, this would not have gone like this. There would have been some sort of reaction to this. And the only reaction I'm currently seeing are people talking about it on the internet. And yes, I know I'm talking about it on the internet, but as I've made it very clear, things need to happen. Okay? Things need to happen, and they need to happen now. Not in 3 months' time when they're already here, not going on news channels, not doing this. I made it clear that something needs to happen now. Okay? And it didn't happen. And that's the reason why we're now in a position where I don't know how this is going to get stopped. I really don't, and that should send shivers down the spines of most individuals, okay? Because it scares the life out of me. I'm now not trying to stop this from my daughter from going through this. I'm now having to prepare the life that my daughter's going to have to go through. I'm going to have to make sure that she's not going to be able to walk down the road normally. I'm going to have to make sure that she has, that I take her everywhere and I pick her up. It shouldn't be like that. And the more that we just literally sit around thinking someone's going to do something in the future, it's for the birds. A political solution will not stop this from happening. Let me be absolutely clear. And anyone that's telling you that if reform, advance, be it as good as they are and as good as they're talking, they will not stop this. This is a different kettle of fish. This will not be dealt with in a political manner. The French are offloading every bad person that they have got and they're giving it to us. Don't get it twisted. The French are dumping their shit on us. Emptying their country of the most disgusting, horrible people men that they can get rid of. why it's all orchestrated. So I just had to come on my rant, because I honestly cannot believe that a 12-year-old girl has been kidnapped, raped. They've even got the video that they took while they were doing it to her, and we're not organising and thinking that's enough. That's enough. That is enough. Because if we've got to be careful, that's going to be my daughter soon. That could be your daughter. That could be your sister. That could be your mum. Like, what the fuck are people waiting for? For it to get so bad and so violent and so terrible that literally there's nothing that can be done. We're now in a position where we actually have the ability to stand up, because we're in the right. We're in the right. We know what we know is the right. These men should not be entering our country en masse every single day. You wait and see what happens in 2 months' time. You wait and see the volume that is coming. She has, I can't say too much. I've got to be careful. But I'm being told, and I've seen the videos, and I cannot share them, but I have seen the videos. You are talking about thousands of African and Middle Eastern men that are on their way to our country. Yeah? Get that in your mind right now. There are thousands ready to go in France, in north of France. Why do you think the French literally closed the whole of the north the day that I said we were coming? Why do you think they did that? Because they knew what reaction it would be if that had gone to plan that day. And anyone that thinks that this somehow is now going to, we'll wait a few months, do this properly, get it all, like, you're full of birds. You're literally just wasting time. You're wasting time. You're allowing the next person, the next girl to get murdered, next girl. I made this point in my in my podcast with Liam Tufts. I see what other people don't see, and I see the severity of it. I've been to the camps. I've seen their eyes. I've looked in their eyes. I know what they're going to do in this country. I know what they're going to do. And you know what they're going to do. You've seen the crimes. You've seen what they're capable of. Protests are not working. They're not listening. Get it into your mind. They're not listening. And the reason I'm so angry is because I have a 12-year-old daughter. And do you know what I would do if that happened to my daughter? Do you understand the thing that would be unleashed if that was my daughter? And that's how we have to think. You have to think, okay, imagine if that was my daughter, my sister, my mother. You have to think like that. The only way that this gets sorted, the only way that people get off the internet, get away from protesting, get understanding, thick shit needs to change. Otherwise, we are walking into literally an oblivion of rape, torture, and murder for our kids. And we'll be too old to do anything about it. This is orchestrated from the highest level. These are nothing to do with asylum seekers, nothing to do with people fleeing war. This is an orchestrated invasion to destabilize our country, and the rape and murder and pillaging that comes with it is literally at the forefront of it, and everyone's seeing it, and it's just like, yeah, it'll be all right. So that's my rant over. But just be very clear that the warnings were all there. So if it happens to your kid, or it happens to your sister, or your mother, or your auntie, the warnings were there. And I've made huge sacrifices to try and get things in place, to make a stand, to try and bring this to a halt. But enough of you are not listening, and it will take, I don't know what's going to take people to listen. I'm talking about all the big boys as well. All the big boys in this country that say they care about this country. Well, where the fuck are you? Because all I see is talking on the internet. What we're about to do, that's coming, what we're about to do is huge risk. But it's going to be done, and this is the reason why it's being done. So when you see it, you understand it, why it's being done. See you later.